which I think it got started probably in the late 60s, early 70s when this building was built. And it had, in this side of the room, a projection booth, kind of looked like a Superman changing booth with two 35mm projectors in there. This wall was solid concrete, and there was actually even a wall that came here, so you would go through this little vestibule and then you would pop out into the presentation room. So we added this glass block to bring in some natural light based on what we know about how people learn. That really can have an impact. We added the windows up here so we get some of that natural light from the corridor. Admittedly, it's not like we get a real bright light, but we get some light. And this is Emmanuel Garst. He's one of our engineers here, and I've asked him to come in so I could talk with you guys and kind of gauge your needs a little bit. I'll have Manny kind of fire up the system for us while I talk a little bit about what the capabilities are. So go right ahead, Manny. So we wanted to have another learning research studio. Our first one that we rolled out was in 2003. Last semester was an all-time high in terms of the number of faculty and courses being taught in that space. I can show you that one if you like, Trevor. I think you've been in there before. The experimental classroom, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was kind of the first iteration of something like this for us. And really, it's a collaboration-minded space. It's really aimed at getting students to work together on problem-solving and decision-making tasks, types of tasks that may not have a right answer. So in this case, we've got these shared team screens in all four corners. And those are really important for a variety of reasons. One is because the students can work in their small teams independently. So you can have one group of students, let's say at this corner table, working on that display number 4, another group of students working independently on display number 3. So you've got the ability to kind of mix and match sources at these displays, and then for the instructor, they can send their content out to all 5 screens, or they can send, let's say, Table 4's content out to all 5 screens. So we thought that that was a nice way for there to be kind of this audience effect where you're kind of upping your game a bit if you're being asked to share what you're producing with others. So that's really a central focus of this space, is getting the students not just passively using information to fill in a worksheet, but really to create something to demonstrate their understanding. So some other innovative aspects of this space, the belly height furniture. It's interesting so far with the observations that I've done, these tables always fill up fastest. You might say that it's because they're in the back of the room. Usually the tables in the back of the room fill up fastest. But I think that it's interesting because the instructor who teaches in here Wednesday night asked me, do all the tables go? Because these are telescopic poles on the table here, so you can adjust these up or down. And basically, he was really disappointed because those tables up there are just traditional height tables. We did this because of the viewing angles and the sight lines. So if you had kind of like a horseshoe set up and you wanted to do some direct instruction, we didn't want people to be obstructed in their views. So one of the things that's coming out of this is the appreciation for this kind of almost sports bar kind of feel that we've got going here. We originally had the space set up for 32 seats. All the tables and chairs moved, but it sounds like there's this sweet spot of about 40. So some faculty who wanted to teach in here couldn't teach in here because their enrollment in their class was 40. So we added these node chairs. These are chairs by Steelcase. It's a U.S. manufacturer, which we're happy to support. These are super flexible, easy to get around. This is obviously a food and drink friendly environment. That's why we just tore out all the carpet and tile and just cleaned up the concrete a little bit so it was spill friendly. But these are really easy to rearrange. You can put the students into small groups. You can have them in rows if you want kind of more of a rectilinear kind of approach to things. But really comfortable chairs. See a lot of the gals throw their purse kind of over the arm right here, and you can stow your backpack underneath. So these are. Do you remember the cost of those? I don't, but I can find it out for you. They're not cheap. but steel case stuff usually isn't. They've got a lifetime warranty. So my experience is you get what you pay for. You can definitely find something like this cheaper.
Is there anything special about the floor? I know, like back in the LARC labs, they had to have a special electrostatic floor or something put in at that time. But I've heard from an electrician that that's no longer the case.
No, this is just polished concrete. Nothing to it. In fact, it's got all of its blemishes and ugliness. We routed power to the center of the room, so you see the trench cut for that. The idea for this space was no
right
fixed
here?
front. Yeah, so you could actually kind of teach in the round if you wanted to. This is basically just power on this side, and then you've got cable. You've got your VGA. I've got to get under there with something better, but you've got the type of cable that you see here under there, which is your traditional video, little 15-pin D connector, and audio. So we've got this capability for these displays, but more importantly, and maybe Manny, you can demonstrate that, we've got something called AirPlay, which is a consumer technology. You've probably heard of Apple TVs.